Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. Now, this is a day in the office, January 12th, 2026. Approximately, good question, approximately 3:41 p.m. PST. Now, I'm just puttering around the office, so I will keep an eye open for people dropping in. Wish I could say I was consistent with this, but I'm consistently mixing things up. The reason for that is because much as I do my best to stay positive, to keep on the positive side of things, I run into a very simple problem. And that is that way too many times I get caught up in, I get blindsided really by the amount of negativity and stonewalling and stupidity that's out there. Now, I just want to see that top chat. That's great. Let us see if I'm missing anything on here, because sometimes that happens. So we go in here and go to YouTube and we'll see. Here we are. And yes, it really boils down to one simple issue. Okay. I look at the world. Well, want that. There we go. I look at the world in a very simple fashion. No matter how I do it, we all have a job to do. Okay. That job is clean up our own area of the world. Now, in my case, I'm taking way too much on occasion. And I have finally reached the point where I'm looking at it going, okay, this world is a disaster. Now I can stay focusing on the negative side of it. Absolutely I can. Unfortunately, quite often I get right tied up in it. Now, let me see. Do I have, no, that's what I should do. Yes, I end up getting up to move around a bit here. Kind of have to. Let's leave that on the other screen. And there we are. That way I can see what I'm actually doing. Now, this here, not advertising. I've got to have, why don't we do that? Trying to sort out my filing system so it stays correct. And rest assured, that can be a challenge and a half. Now, one of the things I should point out here, if you pop in and you see me, absolutely do put your questions in the chat room. All caps, please. That way I can see I can see the question you're asking, or the comment for that matter. Okay. And what I'm looking at here is literally a question of, okay, what do I have to have organized in order to make this work? Well, there's a fair chunk of it. And we go. That out of the way. Yes, I've got my back. Yeah, I kind of have to. Well, not really. I can turn sideways. Okay, now this is just a file to keep things organized. That was a good start. Okay, now take that, and I am not honestly expecting a whole lot of anybody in here. I have been consistently inconsistent for the last little bit. Again, things hit me sideways, just like you, just like dang near everybody. Okay, and sometimes it gets very difficult to sort through it. So what I'm looking at this point is how do I correct it to make certain that I do things in the right order. There we go. What is that? No, that's what that is. Okay. Pop that in there. And take these, which are Whoop. Don't think I need that one anymore. Nope. Those go under IVE receipts. Where are we? By doing that, I can keep things on track. Okay, where is there it is. Corporate superstructure. This neat little thing here has nothing I require in it. So that's good. See, one of the things I'm looking at, there is so much in the way of blatant corruption going on that I find it very difficult to stay positive a lot of the time. And I'm not talking about blatant corruption just on one group. I'm not talking about one government, one corporation. No, I'm not specifying any individual for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, it is so widespread. I would rather focus on the people that are doing something positive. Okay, and that can be complicated. Where am I at? Behind me, of course. So let us see. That's the live stream, and that's day in the office. Okay. Well, look at that. That's always handy. I just check back with the other one, with the other stream. And what I want to know, go back to that. We have just me, not exactly suspended, suspicious, so to speak. I do my best to keep this a positive environment. But I'll tell you, the world is so corrupt right now. And I know it's bad out there. Okay. And it's not bad for just the poor people, by the way. It's not bad just because of the wealthy or of the corporations. It is bad because we as individuals have let it go completely sideways. Okay, and that is, to say the least, a bit of a problem. Now, one of the things that I will point out is I'm doing everything I can to turn things around. Okay, from my end. Now, that I don't think I require that, but I will keep that. As a matter of fact, I think I should put that in there anyway. So let us go back into this. IVE receipts. And we open that up. Put that in there. I might need it for later. So let's see what we got. Now the reality is I am waiting for a phone call right now to get things reorganized for what's that? Okay. That can go. I'm just not hanging on to last year's stuff. I'm supposed to, but I'm starting brand new all over the place here. Okay. And because I'm starting brand new all over the place, I just decided, right, wrong, or indifferent, it really boils down to this. I've got a mess I cannot correct from the past. Nobody can. The fact is, if you've already done something, you literally cannot undo it. So, I'm just going, okay, where am I standing and where do I go from here? Well, as you can tell, I don't stand still very long. But I dumped last night's stream because I couldn't cope with the stress I was going through. And the world is hard enough You don't need me. You don't require my telling you the world's a mess. What you do require, it would seem, is for someone, I'll work, you know, you do seem to require someone to say, hey, let's change this, and here's how we're going to go about it. Okay, because guidance is not one of these strong suits right now. That seems to be falling the way of the dodo bird quite consistently. That's all legal stuff. Legal, live, what is that paper? Of course. So that says medication. Oh, look at that. We have some of that. Knew I had some. Okay, we pop that in there out of the way. Now, let us see what we got going on. That's stuff that's got to be straightened out. Like I said, this is just me puttering in the office. Okay. And since we're talking about what's going on in the office, this is literally like I look at the world the way it is, and I am absolutely appalled. Now, I cannot effectively blame people too much because you've been taught by your predecessors who were taught by theirs. This same situation has been going on for literally centuries. Okay. The unfortunate reality is unless we as a society start making a stand, okay, we're going to run into a problem. And what we got going on? Okay. Let's take a look at this. Yes, I'm going to be swapping streams, so you'll see me on occasion. I've only got the one monitor right now. Okay, that is something I am working towards. What is that? Email. There. Now, 111, 111, 517? Gonna have to check that. Try that again. Okay, let's just open that up. Eternity, how are we doing? Glad you could join us. Unfortunately, I had to dump the stream yesterday because, well, I got hit with a real bad case of depression. I do my best to stay on the positive side here. But unfortunately, oh, by the way, Eternity, you do have the gold here. I got hit with a really bad case of depression being faced by unmitigated, closed-minded bullies. I don't deal well with it. So much as I will tell you wholeheartedly, do your best to stay positive. I will tell you it's not necessarily as easy as it sounds. There's this. 111 at temperature. Yep, that one is ready to go. So, grab that as I go. Now that is 117, 109, 110. There we are. This is 517. There we are at 406. Yep. So this one has been confirmed. What I'm doing, these are just journals that I had filled out, and they're being moved into solid position. There's 705 at 744. Yep, that one there. And this way, I can eliminate the dead paperwork that I don't require. Then we need, what is that? 109. Where is 109? There's 109, 617. Yep. So this gets the scrap paper out of my way so that I can actually get rid of it and make my world a little neater. And that's 11, that's 117. Nope, that's 1117. There it is, 513. Okay. Now let's jump back here. And what I'm doing at this point is literally eliminating odds and ends I don't require. Where is my list here? This. Nope, not that. That's got to be dealt with, yes. But that's not the sheet I require. Started working with that. Oh, I know what that's for. Where's my other... I do like when I do this. Well, not really. Okay. Now, Office Desk is sorted out as far as I can. But there's a lot of stuff that I have to dispose of because it's just not working well having it. So let's see what we got. Now, I did find out, I did discover, and I think I've got it. Maybe not. Nope. So let's open up that. And we go open. Where are we here? Positive Perspectives, January 2026. I do know what I'm doing with it now. Whole pile of things I've got to correct. Now, let's see. Before I go into that, we go. And Kitty Cat, how we doing? Actually, I believe it's Kitty Cattywack. Kitty Cattywack. How you doing there? You are in with the silver. Now, I'm in the middle of fighting with a real severe case of reality binding. Sad to say, the amount of corruption in this world and the amount of people going, oh, I'm entitled to more than everybody else, doesn't work very well for me. You know, I do feel for you there. Health-wise, physically I'm doing fine. But I just literally had to tell the diabetic clinic that they've already dropped the ball on me altogether. So I'm taking care of things my own way. I am looking into various different herbs and what have you to straighten my own health out. But relying on the doctors has proven to be, shall we politely say, disappointing. So I told them today, you can want your answers all you'd like. The reality is you're not doing me any good. I've been accused of a lot of things over the last little while, not the least of which was the diabetic clinician I was talking to literally asked me if I would rather die than take the medication they like. I looked at him and I said, you asked what happened. Well, in all fairness, I really didn't. I said, why am I bother explaining it to you at all? It's just the reality of it is that if you desire your life to change, you're going to have to make the effort to make it happen. Now, what am I looking at here? Oh, Currently, by the way, I am literally working, on the documentation on Positive Perspectives, the January edition. It will be a short one, but it is coming out. Let's see here. This month, I just went through it today, and I think I've got everything written. So I am aiming to get it out ASAP here. But starting off, and these are going to be monthly. First of all, Positive Perspectives, which is a free magazine, will be coming out monthly. January is going to be a little later than I intended, but I'm building February right behind it. Okay, so January itself, we are going to cover numerology, an enhanced version. At the same time I'm working on that, I'm enhancing the booklet, so the booklet will come out next year. Okay, but I will be working with numerology and enhanced version. Language, as in the words that actually are self-debilitating in any language I've come across. Then we're also going to be taking a look. Now, numerology will come out, is being covered under the paranormal section. Language is coming out, where are we here? Language is coming out under economics. Okay. I think I'm putting that there. Should really work on that at the same time. I've got numerology is definitely paranormal. Wolfpack is coming out under entertainment. Alien is where I'm dealing with the meet the whichever species. Okay. Then career is, we're going to look at the hospitality side of it in career. And under economics, we are looking at language. Now, all of these are multi-tiered. Okay, so these 5 topics are going to be covered every month with a different aspect of it throughout the coming year. I am adding other things to it for February, but January is just going to be those 5. But the reality is I'm the only writer, okay, and the only contributor even for that matter. But they are going to get put together. I cannot afford to leave it sit, as it were. Now this, we move that to that file. Get that out of my way. What is that? Okay, that can be closed and left on the market. And we go here. This is cute. I keep getting this one email, and I really don't have a use to have it keep coming in. So we're going to try unsubscribing again. I know where they are, so that's not a big problem. We're going to try unsubscribing again from it. And hopefully that cures that, but I'm not holding my breath on it. Okay. Take that, and then we delete that one. Y'all, the reality is I get a lot of junk mail that I've got no interest in hanging on to. Now, what do we got here? Leadership topic. Okay. Now, where are we? Oh, I'll have to answer that. Those can be deleted. And let's just double check back in here. Oh, wow. Turn my head. Okay. Joe, how you doing? I just caught your email. To be honest, I am doing my best to be in here from Friday night through to Friday night to Tuesday night from 4 p.m. Well, I'll be starting around 4 p.m., maybe a little earlier. Certainly not likely later, but I run until 5 p.m. Pacific. Okay, I'm doing my best to do that on a regular basis. Unfortunately, my stress level sometimes really screws things up. So that's where that is. Now let's see here. We got a response here. There we are. Yeah, I am still making it my permanent weekend on all fronts on the Wednesday, Thursday. So we're looking at on a regular basis, Friday through Tuesday is what I'm planning on as far as as far as the whole situation goes. It's just, it is problematic striving to do it 7 days a week. It's too much. I've got to have a break at some point. But like I said, those topics I'm going to be dealing with on a regular basis. I'm pretty certain I've got them all up and running. But let us see. That's positive perceptions. Now let's take a look at numerology enhanced. Okay, and that one's first one. Then we go open numerology. Not volume 2. We are going to require that one because races of the world. I will be dealing with one species at every month. Okay, but you gotta remember, I'm only dealing with one per month. This means I've got 5 years of work in only the first month, in only the first book, and I've already got book 2, volume 2, already set up. Numerology, races. What do we? That's the meet the. What do we got? Oh, language. Races up. That's the entertainment side of it. The Wolf Pack. That's from the Ilderbaching Chronicles. Then we go down here and we go. Races Journal, Numerology, Races, Wolf Pack. Don't require saying, well, yeah, I probably require that. So we'll open that. What I'm doing is opening a whole pile of files to start with that I'm going to require. Whoops. Now, where do I find language? That way I can, oops. I require active documents. And let's see if language is here. There it is. And that's necessary. Whoop. Okay. That worked well. Now, come back up here. And where are we? Okay. Oh, I scrambled that one. We had Eternity in with the gold. We have Kitty Cat in with the silver. Joe, you are actually in with the bronze. I'm just looking now. If you guys have any suggestion for things that you feel would be a beneficial addition to either a beneficial addition to positive perspectives or a beneficial topic for positive perceptions, which is my live stream. And yes, assuming the computer works and I don't die before then, we are intending on being on tonight for positive perceptions at 8 p.m. Pacific. And let me see if I've got this open. That is not the file I require. Let us see if we go open that and we go not Empire 2026. I require IME Evolution. There we are. Okay, now tonight is Monday. We are going to be looking at on positive perception. We are going to be looking at sharing expenses. Why do it? Okay, kind of a necessary thing from my standpoint. Okay, way too many times I run into hiccups. Now, let us see here. Go back to this. There we are. So, yeah, absolutely. If you've got a question, if you've got a suggestion, definitely pop it in there for me. That would be really appreciated. And what is this? Oh. Okay. This has to be put in there. That's okay. Now, right now, okay, my office is sorted out. That's got to be done tonight. That goes over there. That was nice. Now, what are these? Well, that's a journal entry. But you see, one of the biggest things with running an office efficiently is you've got to make certain that when you're doing so, you make sure you file things appropriately as quickly as you can. So you don't have, like I've done so often in the past, it's imperative you do not have a lot of junk around. That one's got to be dealt with now. There's a couple of other files I require open here. That'll work for a starting point. And what do we got here? I do not know who that is for. So I'll have to take a look at that. That is. Oh, that's some other ideas. Now let us go here. Okay. Now, I'm not, in all fairness, I look at a day in the office. This is when I do my puddling to make sure I keep things organized, which can be a challenge to say the least. Oh, yes. Have to double check that. So we take this. There we are. Okay. Back and sit there. That is. Do we have that one? What do we got? This is a file I've got. Now, do I have. Open that, and then we'll find that. No, not those. Okay. That's not the file I need. While I find what I'm looking for here, we go back here, make sure we've actually got something. Sorry if I fade out every now and then. I'm sort of talking to myself in a lot of ways. But I am doing my best to keep an eye on what's going on in the chat. Now, that. I don't know if I've got that. Let us take a look. Okay. We go to. There. That one I required because this enables me to post in to put the information in. That's confirmed. Now, what is that? Okay. Then we get whoop 01. Yesterday was no, had that call this morning. Did I not? Yeah, I think that call came. Oh, it's up front. Dang it. Okay. Double check here. Here we are. Joe is telling me I've got a show topic: how to deal with and cope with narcissistic parents. Oh boy, is that a big one. And Joe, I absolutely agree with you. And let me take a look at this, because I'll tell you, this is one of the reasons that I went into a tailspin. It's been yesterday. But it's not just narcissistic parents. However, we are talking self-help, so let me see what I've got going on here. Sunday, we've already got that scheduled. We will leave that, or not Sunday, Tuesday, which is self-help. So, okay, now we're already booked there. So, 13th, where is next Tuesday? The 20th. Okay, the 20th of January. Assuming that things don't go sour, the initial plan is simple. How to cope with narcissists is what it will include parents, but understand parents aren't the only narcissists out there. How to cope with narcissists. We will deal with that. Now, I've got it scheduled in right now for Tuesday the 20th. Okay, where am I? Come back up to that. So it's an excellent question. And like I said, one that hits way too close to home. Now, my parents have actually passed away, but I deal with a lot of narcissists, a lot of people they have what I call a godplex. I know everything, everybody else is wrong. I'm the only honest one on the planet, everybody else is lying. These are narcissistic traits. Okay, now not everybody is a narcissist. And I will tell you, if I had all the answers, I would. I definitely qualify as a narcissist. But I'll tell you flat out, I don't have all the answers. So I'm just working with things that I found have worked for me. But make a note on your calendar, because I will keep you updated. But at present, we are looking at January 20th of 2026 at 8 p.m. Pacific. We are going to take a look at how to cope with narcissists. How do you deal with them? How do you cope with them? How do you deal with them at all? And yes, we are going to look at positive ways of dealing with them, which, by the way, does not mean bend over and just accept what they tell you. That is not dealing with them. That's actually going to fuel the problem. Now, let me get back to that for a sec. Okay. I like the idea, Joe. Thank you so much for that. Now, let us go to there. Whoop. Wonder why. Oh, I have no idea what that number is for. But that's the right invoice, but I do not understand it. That's okay. Now we go. That's modify. Well, deal with that. Account number such and such. That is confirmed. And then we go. I don't know where that one came from. This one we deal with. Balance equals 934. something with that, so that's okay. This is, nope, I'm just doing it. Dealt with it this morning, so 0122026. Okay. And that is what I require. This is good. Payment 200 with me. This way I can keep things balanced and stay right on top of them. But when I'm dealing with a creditor, I literally, instead of going through all the rigmarole, okay, and this is just the way I deal with it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one thing you gotta remember, Joe, and this applies to everybody. Okay. Somebody can be a narcissist and yet still have some definitive qualities to them. Now, the reality is, my brother, my older brother, he died about a decade back now. But one of the last things he ever told me was something rather prophetic. He goes, "Look, all the time, you're growing up, your parents will encourage you to be to be to be independent, to make your own decisions, to think before you do something. Okay, they'll tell you you've got to be independent, but as you get older and they get older, they're going to complain as you take your own independent action. Okay, and sad to say, all the explanation in the world isn't going to help a whole lot. But what my brother told me was absolutely continue to treat them with respect. Now, I got to throw this in. You absolutely respect your elders, presuming they are respecting you. Okay, but if they're not disrespecting you, respect them until it goes south. Okay, the fact of the matter is, even a narcissist deserves respect. Okay, doesn't mean you have to take everything they say at face value. Okay, but understand they've been alive longer than you. The odds are they've seen something you haven't. Okay, so now that was just dealt with, so we can save that, and that file can now be closed. There we go. Now, what is this for? I don't think I've got. Let's see, H&P. Oh, that's what I did, you dingbat. Okay. That's a new one. And this we go. Well, okay. Take that bullet and take this information. And come back here to see what's popping. Okay. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm working on doing work in the office. This is why I'm bouncing back and forth. Okay. Whoops. Take that, pop that in there. Then we get. Hopefully I've got that name right, but mark that down. Tell me what she is. don't know when you had that phone call, so I have to look that up. That's on my phone in front, so that's okay. So we take this, we go save that. Oops. Here we are. Having trouble typing, it would seem. Let me go save. Now we can close that because I don't require it at this point. Okay, that's working well. Now, if I got anything else I gotta worry about? Joe, sorry, I already answered that. That can be moved. To claim. That can go there. And what do we got? Oh, it's amazing how much junk I get that is literally depressing, and that's all it boils down to. We've got a mess on our planet right now. And I mean, as far as civilization goes, and it is a very big problem in my eyes, one that we've got to start working on. And I don't mean just me or just you, I mean the entire world has to. Because what's going on right now, okay, I knew that, but I appreciate that. That can be deleted. That's cute. That can go. We'll have to deal with those ones. There is my list. Take a look at all those. Those can all be deleted. Those are emails I don't require. What do you mean by that? Oh, that's what it meant. I jumped it too quick. Okay. Now, go back in here. Where are we? Joe, the short answer is yes. Okay, tomorrow night, again, and somewhere I'll start somewhere around 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock at the latest. But the way I'm running a day in the office is I will be on, the intention is to be on from about 4 p.m. at the latest until 5. But I'll be working in the office Friday through Tuesday. Okay. The idea is every week, because what this does is it gives me a dedicated time to say, I'm working in the office. Now, I will also be doing, so that'll put me on an hour here, and then I'll come back on at 8 o'clock for positive perception. And again, this is 8 o'clock Pacific. Okay. So yeah, I absolutely am intending on being back on regularly. It's just sometimes I fight depression in a really bad way. But I am doing what I can in that respect. Those can stay there. Okay, already did all that. That's good. And amazingly enough, are you kidding me? Oh yeah, I still got half an hour before I shut down. Because I don't run just an hour. It depends on when I get in here. As far as that goes. But that is Oh, I think I did that. In Excel, that takes me to the 11th. I didn't do anything for work today. But if I go there and go in the minimum, 12, IGA, well, that's when they pop that in. But where is didn't go to IGA today. IGA is the grocery store I go to. But this, we grab lunch, so we won't be doing that again. Okay. Now, pop back over here for half a sec. Yeah, Joe, that is an excellent idea. And it's one of those things, like Joe is just suggesting that I put a notification when I'm coming on. And that I will absolutely do. It's one of these issues of getting used to doing proper advertising because, frankly, I am absolutely pathetic at it right now. But relying on other people to do it did not work in the slightest. Okay. Where is my list? Not that one. What pixel did I do it? No. Oh, that was painful. That was totally useless. Ah, there's my clipboard. Oh, that's what I did. Okay. So, we take this, put that there, and we go. And yeah, I absolutely will there, Joe. Put a notification in tomorrow and let people know, yes, I will be there. I'm going to start doing that on Facebook. It's on both Facebook and LinkedIn to become a regular setup so that I just get in the habit of going, this is when I'm going to be there. Storm, how we doing? Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. I just got confirmation, people. Positive Perceptions will be on tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific. And let me just double check to let you know. We are going to be looking at tonight Positive Perceptions, Monday night, that's January 5th. We go to January 12th. We are going to be dealing with sharing expenses. Why do it? Okay, and I got to work on a few things, but that's something I'll do this afternoon. And let's go back to here. And Storm, I'm really happy you got back safe. This is an excellent thing. Eternity, I have no idea. Oh, you're asking Kitty Cat. That's good because she probably knows more than I do. What's this? Oh. Okay. That becomes, that's what I was working on there. That becomes things on the 12th. Don't mean that. Yeah, this is that thing you hear in the side. That's a shredder. Now, save that so I don't have to worry about it. And I want to check something. We are at 7:07. So that's not a bad thing. Slowly but surely we will grow. There's no question there. Now, that was that one. This is stuff to work on for the next one, but I gotta get the first one done. But like I said, as soon as I get done this stream, I will turn around and start working on February. Like I'll get January's positive perspectives out. It is a free magazine. If you're not getting it, because it only goes out by request. If you're not getting it, absolutely. And let me grab that box while I'm thinking about it, because I gotta update this at the same time. That's my security box. That is my one box. WOM box. Word of mouth advertising. The number one best method of advertising available, even on the planet today. Okay. And, that's just the reality behind it. Now, the way I figure it is this, and I will put this out for you again, for anybody that's dropping in and listening. Am I willing to go on to somebody else's stream and talk to them about pretty much any topic? Certainly. I will not discuss politics or, specific politics or specific religion on this stream, or on positive perceptions for that matter. It's just not going to happen. There's too many complications. Okay. However, I will voice my concerns inside positive perspectives. Okay. I've got all kinds of articles coming up. And yes, I am constantly writing, but I've got some projects that I put on the back burner because I made the mistake of striving to actually make allowances for other people. Okay. And I let other people's perceptions on things become a guiding factor. I can no longer afford to continue doing that. In all fairness, I couldn't afford to continue doing it before. Okay. But what I'm looking at this point is let us see. Now, I wonder that one. And let's see. Keep those ones running, certainly. What is this? Is that under paranormal? No. Okay, let's shrink that for a moment. Message from the owner. Paranormal is where I put that. Okay. I'm debating leaving that one in there permanently, which I probably will. At least for the moment, I'll leave it there. Now, after that, we are not going to deal with that this time, but okay, I'll have to go through that. Where am I? See, one of the biggest problems I run into. Hey, that's always neat. Just lost my eyesight. That's always trippy. So, not exactly working blind, but my right eye just shut down on me, which makes it really fun trying to figure out what I'm looking at. So I've got those topics sorted around. What did I do here? Whoop. Oh, that's cute. Joe asked me to make sure I make a post that a day in the office is coming on tomorrow. Hey, neat. A Dito, a day in the office. Works. I work with a lot of personal shorthand or acronyms because I can remember them a little easier. And in all fairness, most people I know of remember acronyms or sayings better than an entire title or article. So it's one of those things I'm having to get used to, especially considering that I am looking at this going, okay, where do I go from here? Like, how am I going to make this, how am I going to make inner voice a going concern? Now, last year, where are my numbers? Just a curiosity thing. Not that one. Not that one. Where did I put it? Whoop. Wonder what that is. Take a peek and see what number that comes up at. I'm just looking up a number for what this is. There we are. I do believe that was what she gave me here. Need that put back where it belongs. We can cripple that. And what do we got? Okay. Sec box. There's my sec box. This is why people cannot hack my database. Because my database is old school. Let's see you use a computer to get into one of these. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Now, take a look at that. Let's pop over here. And it's still saying the same. I don't actually get a lot of input in here. You know, not in a day in the office. However, even here, what? And Joe is going, what is a yellow light orb if it's not a vehicle? Being yellow, if it's not a vehicle, odds are you're dealing with a Vorosic. Okay. Now, Vorosic, and I don't know if I've got them here, so let's just take a look and see if I did that. However, I do know that I've got more information coming for them. I'm just scanning through the book that I've got already right in front of me here. Whoop. Oh. Yeah, give me half a minute. I'll call up the, I think I've already got it open actually. Races, there we are. Let us go to find the Vorosic. See how much extra information I've got there. Ah, there we are. Yellow. Okay. Now, when you're dealing with a yellow Joe, and this, by the way, is one of those things that gets added into Races of the World's second volume, as well as into Meet the Vorosic, which means on this little list here, where to put it, I'm good at this. You can tell because I get scattered so quickly. Gravity works. This is a good thing. Now, and we'll have to get started on that one too. Again, that's one of those neat little things. But the yellow Vorosic are the ones who are, they are the most intelligent. They're the observers. So in all fairness, if you're seeing one in your area and it's not a ship, it is probably a Vrozik. Literally just simply watching what's going on and making notes, as it were. Okay. I have, just for further edification, I have, let's see, Vrozik you will find come in white, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and black. Okay. These guys, this is a very complex group. Okay, but that being said, they literally run, they reproduce by mitosis. Okay. They literally split and replicate. Okay. Usually, and this is the other thing to keep in mind, they are only 1 to 3 inches in diameter. These are not big entities. Okay. But this is one of the reasons that they quite often get mistaken if you don't see the color properly, because it's usually a very faint color. It's not like they usually show up with really vibrant color. Okay. But this is why many times they'll be mistaken for a dust particle. Okay. And it's not like they go out of their way to make themselves known. You know, but that would be what you're looking at. Okay. Now bear in mind, each of this new series I'm putting together is going to be a small booklet. I'm keeping it down quite seriously, as inexpensively as I can get it. But that's one of those little meat that I'm going to be working with. I require, so I can get rid of that sheet. Amazing how much stuff I have. And with little notes all over the place and go, why am I confused? I'll tell you I'm confused because I get that way really easy. Okay. And let me see here. I did that before and then promptly like that. That one is oh. Well, I don't need that one for now. Not until I get around to applying for it, and that'll be a while. So if I ever get around to that, that's great. But right now, it is not a requirement. So now it's no longer even a viable option. Now, what do we got here? We are sitting at, we're down to the last 10 minutes. Don't require that, so that's good. That is stuff I'll be working on. Where are we here? Okay, double check over here. And we see, let's refresh that just because I desire to see what happened, or if anything happened. Yeah, right now we are sitting at 707 subscribers. You know, the reality is, when I take a look at it, I'm going like, okay, what do I do with it? You know, how is this going to be of any benefit? What kind of knowledge is it going to help? Oh, now, those are a couple I've got to go through, but they're going to have to wait. So, let's go in here and go back there, and away we go. Now, let's take a look at what we're looking at. Tonight, on Positive Perceptions, we are looking at the 12. Sharing expenses. Why do it? Now, understand, sharing expenses is a lot more involved than just finances. Okay? It also refers to this idea that there's no saying that goes, you know, many hands make light work. What that means is if you share your concerns with other people, maybe you'll have a little bit of extra support that can help you cope with the stresses you're going through. And then let's see. Of course, tomorrow, assuming everything goes functionally well, tomorrow will be Tuesday. I will be back here with a day in the office. I don't plan a day in the office. It literally is just a question of coming in here to look through what I'm doing. Oh, that's what that is. I did that. Phoenix Excel is done. I gotta pay mobility as soon as I get done here. Let's see what we can do about getting set up for it. Whoop. There you go. Take that to there. We'll do that as soon as I get off. Now it's open and ready to go. And then we go over here. Whoa. And Stewart goes, wow, really? I just saw a yellow light orb to the left of the cemetery. Out upstairs window. Was there 5 minutes and disappeared. Last time I saw that yellow light was Christmas Eve. Yeah, what you're looking at there, in all likelihood, Joe, I tell you, having a cemetery out your back window is incredibly exciting for most people. Some people would find it frightening. But yeah, you're looking at an analysis and data recording team. These are the intellectuals that literally come in to take a look at what's going on around Earth. Now, don't forget, because we're dealing with a cemetery, understand people. Cemeteries are great places. Yes, you put the bodies there. Anybody can go there. Just treat it with respect. But understand, the souls that are buried there, the bodies are buried, the souls may not be there. Okay, it is quite possible, depending on how old they are, that they've moved on. But here's the thing you may not realize, and this is extremely important for you, especially Joe. When you're dealing with the Vorosic can, because they are literally, they're photonic. Okay, let me just double check what I'm about to put my foot in the mouth with. Yeah, they are literally a photonic sentient entity. So they can communicate directly with the soul. Doesn't matter whether it's human, because the soul is just the driver, not the vehicle. But they come in to find out what the soul is going through. It may even be that there was a cat that died somewhere nearby. The soul they come to talk to may not even be human. Okay, but they come in to do vocal research. I'll call it vocal because I don't have a better word for it. Okay, but they are an entity that is very useful. Okay, they're very open minded, as it were. Now let's see, close that off. Defense. See, we've got the different colors you may see, and they are roughly the same size, anywhere from an inch to 3 inches. Okay, and this will all be included. And quite honestly, as I expand on it throughout the year, I am going to pop that one in and go, okay, here's all the extra information I can get away with. This little piece is just the tip of the iceberg. You'll love this one. Your white ones indicate known logical extrapolation from observed available information. Black are unquantified speculative calculations. They're the deep thinkers. Okay, now here's the neat thing with the black. At night, you're going to be really hard pressed to see a black orb. However, if you watch the light around it, and you may see it cut across where the where an actual known life source collapses. That's how you spot the black Larozic. And yes, for those of you who are wondering, I question all the time just where and how I come up with this much information. Boondock, how you doing? Glad you could join us. Now, where are we here? And I do believe I screwed up somewhere. Joe was in with bronze, and then we came in with Boondock. You did come in with honorable mention. I don't think I've seen you before, but absolutely, if you haven't done so already, absolutely, please subscribe to my channel. I do come on at 8 p.m. Pacific with another stream called Positive Perceptions. And it is literally, I do pretty much the same thing, except I've got moderators in there to help find questions as they come up. There we go. Yeah, Joe goes, I'm going to say that was paranormal because the yellow orb did not move or go fast like normal vehicle light. It just disappeared. Well, that's pretty quick when you think about it, but that's how they do it. They just wink out, and that's because they can shift into a different vibratory rate. The reality of it is there's a lot going on that is really handy from that end. Oh, and we are hitting 5 o'clock here. Oh, well, thank you very much, Boondock. I really appreciate the support. The reality is I have trouble keeping track of where things are happening, but I am doing my best to stabilize them. This is one of the reasons why I've done things the other way and gone, I'm now moving forward on my parameters, and hopefully it fits. Because I can't continue to, and clearly I can't continue to try and make everybody else happy. But we are hitting the 5 o'clock mark. So I will say thank you so very much for sharing your time with me this afternoon. Really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you tonight. We will be back at 8 p.m. Pacific to discuss, and I just want to make sure I put this right because I've got it listed here, to discuss sharing expenses. Why do it? This is something that is very important to everybody, quite frankly, everybody around the world. With that in mind, absolutely thanks so very much. We will see you again. And until then, do take care of yourselves and each other. And for pity's sakes, stay positive